Can you get a mortgage if the appraisal comes in low? The answer is C, yes. Banks will lend money based on which is lower, the agreed to purchase price or the appraisal value. So if a home is under contract for, say, $500,000, but the appraisal comes in at $480,000, they still give you a loan, but the bank will base their lending on the $480,000. So if you're getting an 80% loan, the bank will lend you 80% of $480,000, which is $384,000, not the $400,000 that you were planning on. That means that you need to come up with an extra $16,000 in the down payment. If you can't come up with the extra money, then you won't be able to buy the home and you lose the earnest money. So that's why you usually want to have an appraisal contingency to provide some protection in the case the appraisal comes in low. The time frame for the appraisal contingency is negotiable. In a normal market, it's usually 14 to 21 days. In a seller's market, it could be as little as 5 days or no appraisal contingency at all. During that time frame, you notify the seller of a low appraisal. There are several options available. First, you can terminate and get your earnest money back, or you can see if the seller would agree to reduce the price down to the appraisal price, or maybe come down part of the way and you make up the difference. Sometimes you can rebut an appraisal or get the lender to get a second appraisal done. Usually you have to give them different comparable sales that might not have been used in the original appraisal. Some people think that appraisals are the gold standard for determining the value of your home. But if you've seen enough appraisals and studied how they came up with their number, you might not be so confident with their appraisal price. Send 3 appraisers out to appraise a home and you'll get 3 different opinions. It's not an exact science. It's better than nothing, but just because an appraisal says that a home is worth $500,000 doesn't mean that that's what it's actually worth. The value of a home is what a willing buyer is willing to pay a willing seller, assuming all pertinent facts are known. Appraisers have guidelines they need to follow. Any adjustments they make when comparing homes have to be based on those guidelines. But consider this. It's one of the many examples that have made me lose confidence in appraisals. Schools are very important to the value of a home. The same home could differ as much as $30,000 or more from a home a few blocks away that happens to be in a school district that is less desirable. You see it all the time. But I've had appraisers use comparables that were in different school districts that were very different from the subject home, and they made no adjustment for it. I discussed it with an appraiser who said unless they did a bona fide study showing a certain difference, all other things being the same, he couldn't make any adjustments for the difference in the schools. I've also seen appraisers only value an unfinished basement at $10,000 with a finished basement at only a $20,000 adjustment. Most buyers I've been with will value a basement way more than that. Many times, they also don't value renovations for much. Someone might have spent $100,000 on a kitchen, and the appraisal only gives them an extra $15,000. Sometimes people do over improve, but many times I see such crazy low adjustments that it just stuns me. Appraisals can be rebutted, but unless you can prove total incompetence, you're very unlikely to get the appraisal changed. To me, appraisers seem to be very arrogant, especially when talking to real estate agents. Their argument usually comes down to, I'm smart, you're dumb, now shut up and leave me alone. They might have taken many hours of training and passed some big tests, but they aren't out there with buyers listening to what they're saying and how they're thinking about values. It's basically being book smart versus street smart. Appraisers have all their studies and equations, while real estate agents have their years of observations out in the field. My advice is to use it to your advantage if you can, but don't put too much value on it one way or the other. If it comes in low, try to renegotiate and get a better price, but don't automatically terminate just because of a low appraisal. If there were multiple offers, that's telling you something. If it comes in high, wonderful, you can get your loan, but don't start making plans on selling quickly for a profit. If you love the home and will enjoy living there, you made a good deal, no matter what the appraiser says.